Thank you for your attention. And right now, as we have constructed what was constructed as a German office, we would like to proceed to experience all of our other foreign partners which is attending this meeting. I would like to ask Mr. Robertson to present
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me here to share our experience with offshore wind farms in Denmark. My name is Ole Jørgensen. I work as a sales and marketing manager for Associated Danish Ports. Despite the name Associated, we're still a company. I have a background in shipping. I worked for Maersk for several years, mainly in the container business, so this is my background for working in the port industry now. I've been involved in all the four offshore projects. I've negotiated the contracts. I've been involved also in the practical challenges involved in all the projects. So there might be a few questions afterwards where I can enlighten more about what we have faced. I'll just give you a few slides about the company. I think it's important for you to understand what kind of operation we run, what kind of company we run, in order to value how we work with these projects. ADP is a company, as I said, we were established in the year 2000, comprising initially 2 ports, and then in 2003 we got another one, so we're now 3 ports in our company. What is fundamental, the difference from earlier is the dynamic that we got into the company. We have a strategic approach concerning growth in the company. We are involved in many different cargo segments. We play very different roles. In some segments we are more the ambassador, but in other segments we are doing the direct sales, like we do in offshore. In offshore wind we are directly in contact with the clients, and we make the contracts directly and not through any shipping company or any other. It's directly to the customer. The structure of ADP, or Associated Danish Ports, is that we have the mother and then we have the daughters. And the company is constructed in that way in order to allow more ports to join us. We haven't been so successful in that aspect so far, and that's probably because ports in Denmark are very political, so it's very difficult to turn them into commercial entities. But we believe that over the years, more people will see the benefits of the system that we have built up with ADP. Here you see the results for the last years, and I'm glad to see that when you look at the slide, 2010 was actually very positive influenced by offshore projects. So that is one of the very reasons that we made a very high turnover in 2010. As I said, we are involved in a lot of commodities. We do liquid bulk, we do crude oil, we do agri-bulk, we do aggregates, we do containers, we do road, general cargo projects, whatever. Measured in cargo throughput, we handle 13 million tons in our 3 ports, making ADP the largest Danish port operator. Then we have a cargo throughput. Unfortunately, as you see it, the slide is going down, and that's because of the crude oil from our port in Fredericia. We export the Danish crude oil from the Danish North Sea, and it is going down this year, much to the sorrow of us, but also much to the sorrow of the Danish state, because that's a good income for the Danish state. The 3 ports that we operate are located in the central part of Denmark. I think as any other port, we're very good at drawing maps where we're located right in the center. But we have a geographical location given by nature. It's our obligation to use that location best possible to the benefit of our customers. As you see it, the blue line is the international deep water route connecting the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. It's running just outside the port of Nyberg. Outside of ports we have the motorways E20 going east-west and E45 going north-south. And on our port in Fredericia we have rail tracks on all piers. Also with respect to the location, it's also important to note that large parts of the Danish industry and the production is located in our backyard. And a lot of the distribution facilities are also located alongside the motorway. And the agriculture is also very much concentrated in that area. So for the ports, it's an ideal location. And now what this is all about, offshore wind farms. The first time I entered it, that was totally new for me to work with offshore wind farms. And it's quite different from working with agribulk or containers or any other business. It's very interesting and it's very challenging, but it's also so different to work with. I have 4 fact sheets, and you can download them from our website. Looks like this. You can print them out, see what we have done. There's details about the customer, details about the number of wind turbines, the distance, the ship, and so on. I'll come back to the individual projects in a few seconds, but it's important to note that these are also international projects. We have 2 Danish projects, we have 1 Swedish project and 1 German project, which I will also come back to. Also in this aspect, it's important to focus upon the location, not just towards the installation site where you have to put up the windmills, but also to the production site where you produce the windmills. And I'll show you a map later on where some of the production sites are for some of the big players in this industry. Here's a map with the 4 projects that we have been involved in so far. We do have an appetite for more. And we follow the many projects coming up in the Baltic Sea with great interest. Try to nurse our network in order to get some of those projects, because we think that we have both the experience and we have the testimonials from what we have been doing. Starting with the first project, that was Rozwój 1 in 2003. 72 turbines from Sea, at the time it was bonus, now it's Siemens, 2.3 megawatt. The distance to the site was 85 nautical miles, giving a steaming time of 10 to 12 hours. And it was A2C that supplied the vessel, and the customer occupied approximately 60,000 square meters. What you will also note from the map is the availability of open space, the open land. Actually, this is a virgin port, which was constructed as a constructed site when the Danes built the Great Belt Bridge, and we took over the port, transformed it from a construction site into a commercial port. Just outside you also see the motorway in the hinterland, and you also see that the port is surrounded by industry, so we don't have to pass any residential area to get into the port, which is quite unique in Denmark. The distance to the motorway is approximately 1 kilometer. The next project was Lillgrund in Sweden in 2007. Unfortunately, I don't have any photos from that project, so you have to bear with this one here. Lillgrund was 48 turbines. It was a Swedish project, as I said, and the distance was 85 nautical miles, giving also approximately 11 hours of steaming. We transferred this project. When you saw the previous one, this was done on the key 25 in the background. When you see the new one, this is done on another key. I'll come back to a little later to that. The first contract I told you about was Rozwój 1. The contractor or our customer at that time was bonus Energy, now Siemens. For Lillgrund, it was also Siemens who was our direct contract partner. Then in 2010, we entered into a new contract for Rozwój 2. This time it was 90 turbines, still the Siemens 2.3 megawatt, same sailing distance as version 1, and this time also from the Key 20. What has changed this time is that this time it wasn't the manufacturer of the wind turbine who was our contractor. It was the utility company. We made the contract directly with E.ON Wind in Sweden. It was quite different from us to negotiate with the utility company, also the requirements that they set out. But we managed to enter into an agreement. What you should especially notice on this slide is also the entrance into the port. This is a fjord. Just 9 nautical miles from the port, you will find the international deep-water route of the Great Belt connecting the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. Shortly after, or just followed by version 2, we had the German project Baltic 1. Also this time, the contractor, or our contract part, was a utility company. It was EnBW, Energibaden-Württemberg. And I've been happy to sit here and note all the movies and talk about Baltic 1, because it was not shipped out of Rostock, it was shipped out of Nyborg. And it was actually a great success because it came just in the tail of version 2. This time the distance was 112 nautical miles to the site, and they had to steam 14 hours. In the background here you will also see the Great Belt bridge to Zealand and to Sweden. On the map, or on the slide, you will also see a new key to the left. I'll come back to that in a second. We have another picture of this project. Now we are pointing south, seeing the vessel being loaded. And you see on the map, you see the towers being prepared for installation. You see towers being standing on the quay, being prepared for loading. And they had a total installation area prepared just for the preparation of the towers before being loaded on the ship. There were 2 cranes involved in the operation, one on the ship, one on the Sea Energy, and then there was a big crawler crane traveling back and forth with the turbines and the rotors. And they were all supplied by the contractor. We were not involved in the supply of cranes, and we were not involved in the handling operation and the lifting operation. Another picture of the site, you see here the preparation area for preparing the rotors. Every time the ship left, she had 3 complete wind turbines on board. There was 3 bottom towers, 3 top towers, 3 nacelles and 3 complete rotors, and you can see on the map the rotor on the ship going out. And then it's important to have a wide access channel in order not to collide with the wings. They were extremely observant upon the wings and the tip of the wings. On the left, which you cannot see in this picture, there was a storage area for towers, for nacelles and for blades. And all in all, they occupied approximately 60,000 square meters. And here we have Sea Energy ready to go. In the beginning of the version 2 project, she spent approximately 12 to 14 hours in port for the preparation and loading operation. And when they got more experienced, they cut it down to 8 to 9 hours. So that's also a learning process involved in these kind of projects. And it's extremely project oriented. Every time you get a new project, it's totally new again. It's not that you take it out from the old project and say, what can we reuse? They sort of start up again. A little picture from the installation phase. This is version 2. And I think it broke the record on version 2 with the installation. 1 complete offshore turbine in 5 hours up. So that was quite a record that they broke at that point in time. And I also brought you an overview of the total wind farm. We were also invited to the inauguration by Ian. That was quite an experience to see. That was the 4 projects that we have done so far. So what about the future? It's of course always challenging to see, can we be involved in more projects? Well, we have one big challenge now, because I leased out the area which we used for the projects. So we have to find new areas for doing that. In fact, we have leased out the areas out to the production of windmill towers, onshore windmill towers, a totally new system invented by one of our customers, which is a kind of a shell tower where you bolt the shelves together and stack them on top of each other. It's going into production this spring. They can build towers up to 150 meters with a diameter of 10.5 meters, and the entire production goes to Siemens Wind Power. But the problem is that we use the land now for this new production, so we have to find alternatives for new projects. And as you can see on the bottom pictures, we have now extended the quay. We have created a new hinterland which can now be used for new projects. It has been designed for projects with a much higher loadability. It's open space. It's actually deeper water than we had before. On the previous quay we had 8.5 meters. On the new quay here we have 11 meters. So actually we are improving the conditions for the projects. Coming back to the location, as I told you in the beginning, I tried to mark a few dots on the map, and this is where Siemens Wind Power investors have their production in Jutland. Both Siemens and Vestas have their head offices in Jutland, and they also have their major production sites in Jutland. So that's where we get the towers and the cells to place from when they're going into our plant. So we have a strategic location compared to the production, but also compared to the installation sites. So coming back a little to the new infrastructure, this is pointing east, and you can see the extended quay. There's a basin behind the quay which we still have to fill out, but then the area is ready for new projects. And I think we can perhaps give them a 100 to 120,000 square meters for new projects. Where as I told you, the previous project occupied approximately 60,000 square meters. We are also in that respect increasing the capacity. Another aerial photo of the new quay, this time pointing southwest. Also giving you an impression of the operation on the site. Now I've told you a lot about the benefits of Nyborg. Perhaps you should doubt my words. I am, after all, a salesperson. Perhaps I'm not telling you the entire truth. But you can also go on our website and find a magazine. It's called Update, which is our newsletter. And in this magazine you will find testimonials from Siemens, from E.ON and from A2C, how they experience the cooperation with the port, the physical facilities, the cooperation with our local people. We were actually very proud when we sent out this magazine. I think that was the last slide. So thank you very much for the attention. Please feel free to ask questions if you want to hear more about our experience from Nyborg. Thank you very much.
I think that was an interesting presentation. Later on, during that session, I hope we'll be able to ask questions to our guest. And right now, I'd like to ask Marcin for the last presentation before the discussion.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, actually with today's presentation I'm going to continue the storyline that I started last year during the first edition of our event, where in a general manner I was attempting to present the opportunities for the maritime ports that can benefit from the development of the offshore wind energy. Actually, in my today's presentation, I would like to focus more upon the success factors based on a concrete case studies, two of them, mostly enlightening the issues regarding cooperation of the industry and research units, as well as the social effects, meaning jobs creation, employment resulting from development of the sector. First of the case studies I have selected for the presentation is the Linde Industry Park from Denmark. As you can see, its location quite favorable for that type of activity, located by the sounds with quite a good access to both to the Baltic Sea and to the North Sea as well. This is actually an interesting case where you can observe quite a rapid development of such an initiative of attracting major players, major actors of the offshore wind energy sector. As you will see further on, how the story started almost recently. Let me first introduce you to a short history of the Linde Industrial Park. It's actually, this is Linde is the part of the Odense Steel Shipyard, which was founded at the beginning of the 20th century, 1917 exactly. The Linde division was founded in 1959, and the specialty, I mean the profile of the shipyard was production of large vessels, which included one of the largest container vessels, Emma Mesh, with almost 400 meters long. And in 1980, the production at Odense division of the shipyard was terminated. In 2009, 3 years ago, the decision of the owner, the Maersk company, they decided to terminate the shipyard, the shipbuilding activities due to the very strong competition from Far East, especially China. And at the same time, in 2009, the decision was taken to start a completely new business model. Using their assets, they decided to attract external clients and develop relevant facilities that they can use for their business. And actually, using this asset, they managed to prepare a very tailor-made offer to the offshore and heavy offshore wind energy and heavy industry. So the facilities they possess, it's the area for lease. It's 1 hectares of developed land and buildings, out of which almost 17 hectares is the indoors area, and 200 hectares of greenfield for further development according to the needs of the potential investors. These are also production halls, harbor and docks. They possess on a harbor with depth. You can see here all the parameters of the place. Quite an advantage of the area is the gantry crane, which is capable of lifting up to 1,000 tons. The authorities of the area decided also to develop the conference center. These are the, as you can see, the canteens capable of accommodating 5,000 persons. The conference center with all the relevant necessary equipment, auditorium and meeting rooms. Here you will see some pictures of the area, including this heavy crane on the right hand side. Here's exactly the closer look upon it. Eagle's view onto the vessels and the part of the area. So, actually, when the decision was taken to start these mentioned activities, so far they have managed to attract quite important players on from the offshore wind energy sector. As you can see, Siemens Wind Power, Smulders Group, Vestas, and also quite an interesting foundation, the Lindo Offshore Renewables Center, which I will describe in more details within a few slides. Altogether, there are 35 tenants at the area, which brought with them 1,000 working places. So some closer look upon the let's say those most important from our point of view tenants. So Vestas nacelles, they signed the agreement actually at the end of last year, so it's quite fresh. They are planning to conduct assembly of the nacelles for the prototype, actually for the 7 megawatts turbine, and also actually this is an interesting point that will be described a bit later. What actually made them to come with this prototype, and why did they decide to assemble the nacelles exactly at Lindo. So they rented production buildings, offices, including overhead cranes. Total rented area is 15,000 square meters. Further on, Siemens Wind Power, also the issue of the last year. They rented a space, the large building and outdoor facilities, mostly as for the current moment for the storage purposes. Actually, the authorities of the industrial park are still hoping that Siemens will also start the construction, the assembly activity and production and assembly activities. Smulders Group, also well-known company. They also signed the contract last year. What the Smulder is currently conducting there is the construction and storage of supporting structures. For this purpose, they list the production hall and 2 hectares of the storage area. And Lindo Offshore Renewables Center. This is quite an interesting unit. This is the foundation that was established in 2009, also by major players, and it was established in order to join their forces to conduct R&D activities, which will aim at increasing efficiency and quality of the offered products of each of the company, reduce the time to market in order to get the quicker profit from the new concepts, as well as to reduce the costs of energy produced in the offshore wind farms. Here you can see the major initiators as well as the members, of course, very significant players. Maersk, of course, as an owner. Donk Energy, Siemens, as well as you see the scientific institution, University of Southern Denmark, and also other important actors. So the activities that the foundation is going to conduct at the Lindo industrial park is testing of nacelles in real-life conditions, where they are constructing actually facilities for testing the wind loads, the durability of the products for wind loads, as well as the electrical and thermal conditions. Welding center, they have at their disposal quite a modern, quite a new technology, probably one of the most powerful welding machines, 30 kilowatts fiber laser, which aims to help testing and developing new production methods. And the third area is mechanical testing. They also possess some special test gearbox for testing lubricant gears, oil filters. Another area that I haven't mentioned here is creating the knowledge base about components, about the products for the offshore wind energy. Of course, what is important to mention with regard to Linde is that all of these initiatives are being well supported financially by the Danish government. Another story that has already been mentioned, that I also described last year, is the case of Bremerhaven and other, let's say, daughter initiatives from the northwestern Germany, meaning Cuxhaven. The history is quite well already known. After the Second World War, American army was present there, and it was actually which was, let's say, driving the development of the place. At the end of the 80s, they faced economic decline because of the withdrawal of the US forces, resulted in reducing the employment, moving out of the population. Then at that time there was a plan for revitalization, and at that time the decisions were made to emerge the offshore wind energy. So they managed to attract also important players: Power, Multibrig, Tareva, Powerblade, companies manufacturing foundations for offshore wind turbines. Here you can see the locations, the overview of the port area. Here is the daughter initiative within the Cuxhaven port, which also serves as a manufacturing area for supporting structures, as well as storage area for the companies as Strabag, Ambal. So how these initiatives, how they affect, let's say, in terms of creation of the jobs. Here you can see the list of the companies involved in the market, and what is the effect upon jobs creation. According to Wind Energy Agency of Bremerhaven, The total planned installment of offshore wind turbines at the North Sea is 6,000, which altogether will generate the employment at the level of 30,000, which will arise from installation works and operation and maintenance. Investments made into the infrastructure, into the sector. These are the data from 2010, 2 years ago almost. So like the total investments conducted or assessed at 400 million euros, and including infrastructure, public infrastructure, was assessed at 100 million euros. Here you can see which part of those has been located in Bremerhaven. So coming to the conclusions, the success factors that could be identified on the basis of those both case studies. So important thing is to act rather than react, and seeing the potential, the perspectives. It's very important to prepare the tailor-made offer for the and investment conditions for the investors. Quite important issue is also development of the office centers, social facilities. Another important issue that arises from both cases is availability of the spare space for further development according to the needs of the investors, and also, as you could see, attracting research and development. The scientific sector may well accompany the production activities. So it's not only, let's say, just a production that is a kind of, I would say, like a repeating activity, but it may also stimulate. It may also stimulate this production activities. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for that presentation. It's a good time to summarize this part of this session. I would like to invite some of us to the panel discussion. So let me invite Mr. Jørgensen just to share more with some Danish experience and to allow us ask questions, if any. Please take a seat at the table. I'd like also to invite Mr. Andrzej Cieślak from the Maritime Office in Gdynia, which is a representative of the authority regulating the use of the sea space and the use of the harbor areas. I'd like to invite also Mr. Paweł Bańko from Gdańsk Shipyard, GSG Power, the company which is one of the companies which is successfully filling the gap in the official strategic planning in terms of developing and reclaiming the shipyard areas into the new business. Before asking the questions, I would like to slightly summarize the last presentations and the ones before. As you can easily observe, the industry and the background for its development is to be rethink and prepared much before the real business is
to be done just to not be the last in the queue. When we were listening to the history of the port of Nyborg, we could easily probably find out that they are still preparing for something which is coming. So there is also a lesson for us to learn what is really coming. If our neighbors, if our friends are seeing the chance, why are we still a kind of sleeping, at least of the strategic planning and being aware of the chances and challenges which should be faced by the regional authorities, by port authorities, because as we know, the industry is already doing the efforts, but it's a kind of lonely strike until now, and there is a question which direction we will follow. Whether we will follow the Danish or German model, when, as you can see, there is a cooperation scheme, there is an idea of networking. Business itself, business with research sector, and the business with the involvement of the local and regional government, which is supporting the development of the business, maybe not directly, but as you could see, Bremerhaven is a case when the state and the federal state engaged with enormous amount of money, not supporting directly the companies, supporting the development of the infrastructure, which is vital to develop the business. And coming back to our panelists, I would like to ask first questions, and maybe the first one would be to Mr. Jørgensen, which is probably most interesting for us. What are you preparing for? So, what is the reason for these investments that you develop? What are the direction? Do you read the market as we are trying to do? I mean, Germany. You have been involved in Baltic One, and we would be curious of your experience and your plans in that direction.
Yes, we do certainly try to read the market, but that goes for every segment that we are in. I mean, it's not only for the wind power business, it's for agriculture, it's for containers, it's for every single business that we're trying to read the market. For port, it's extremely important to know the market, because we invest. We have to invest for perhaps 50 years. That's how long the quays at least should be standing. When you then go to your customers and say, what is going to happen in 25 years? They say, I don't know. What in 20 years? We don't know. What in 10 years? But they know what is going perhaps to happen in the next few weeks. So it's very difficult to design your investments. So you have to have a form of market intelligence for all what you're doing. And that's what we're doing with the quays. Of course, we also invest in a kind of speculation that we might be able to attract some of the business. But the way we do it is to also nurse our networks. And we do it solely as a port. We do nurse our networks within the windmill industry. We also have networks with the sub-suppliers, the ship owners, the forwarders and so on, in order to get as much information as possible in order to see what's going on. It's also the advisors, the engineering companies and so on that we network with in order to get as much information as possible. But at the end, we're the only one who can decide what to invest in and how to invest. So we have to take the chance.
Thank you. I would like to underline one more of the information that has been passed in the presentation. The Port of Nyborg was strongly involved in the construction of the Baltic One German offshore wind farm. as first launched in the commercial scale in the German part of the Baltic Sea. In that moment, I would ask a tough question, not to be answered. Who is gonna to build the Polish offshore wind farms in 3 years? And who is gonna to join the supply chain for the production and services? And to give the partial answer only, I would like to remember one more the presentation of Mr. Jorgensen. Lillgrund, Rotsand, were the cases of a very nice international cooperation, and actually what should be underlined, we had a Polish accents in all of these projects actually, apart from Baltic One, when it was not present. I hope the old pattern of our engagement will still survive. And coming back to our reality, I would like to ask Mr. Blanco about his perspective. I mean the perspective of the huge industrial production facility, reclaiming the old traditional shipbuilding area into the new production type. I would like to ask you about your point of view on the availability of the area and the accessibility of the area and the potential to grow actually in that pretty challenging environment. We should remember that for years we have a strategy rather to reclaim the shipbuilding area back to the city. And right now when the market is coming again more for the production activities, there is a question when to run it. Are we located suitably in Tri-City area to develop that type of production? What are our needs in terms of the space?
Thank you. Of course, we started to develop our business plan starting from the onshore towers, and we focus mainly on the towers, and after that on offshore one as well. But we are still thinking about the other ultimately products as subsea structures, jackets, tripods, and the bigger items, which we can provide to the market, and which we can see the great demand from the group. However, the contracts which we are trying to reach is tremendous big, and if we are talking about, for instance, about 20 or 40 jackets, and one jacket or tripod is, the weight of such a jacket is about 400 to 500 tons, and the production and to the moving and transportation and the storage places for dealing with such a huge components is really challenging. So of course it's without our, let me say, internal possibility to arrange building of the 20 or 40 jackets, yes, alone, without some kind of support from the harbor, from the other companies. The second, let me see, question is we are talking about the thousands of the million of euros, and the question is who is going to give the money for the financing of the production? Because provided that we have this facility to be built in Poland, and provided that we have a market in place and we have a contract in our hands, we need money to produce these contracts. We need credit facility, we need refund guarantees, we need performance bonds, we need some support from the government in the form of the bank or the guarantees or sureties. So it's really sophisticated problem which we have to focus on from the time being. So maybe I will elaborate it a little bit more during my presentation.
Okay, so it looks like we are not only squeezed by the limited space area, but also the lack of some structural support from the state, as I understand, which could be addressed in promoting this type of production activity. Actually, the state is living from our taxes, and if we come back to the calculations which has been shown in the first session, we are expecting that the market for the offshore wind industry in Poland may increase 5 times in a few years. If we are going to take this chance to take advantage of that, we would be prepared financially in terms of the financial instruments, but also in terms of infrastructure, which must be planned a reasonable time before the real production is required. And coming back one more time to the question of the accessibility of the Polish ports, about just the general conditions which they offer to the shipping activities, in comparison to what we saw during the presentations at the seminar. Ports located at the open sea with the direct access, like the port of Nyborg, like the port of Sassnitz. Are we equipped in the appropriate port infrastructure, or it's rather a time to think about